And so they've been doing this consistently, right? Bringing in close to the cameras agents that I've been trying to get the face for months and I haven't. The other one is Phil Dennis, right? He's always wearing this costume that looks like a gecko, right? With a helmet and like you cannot see his face. That's why in the book, in the cover of the book, you cannot recognize his face. Like he has sunglasses and a hat and the entire gear, right? And that same day or the day after, a man that looks very much like him, I don't know if it was him, right? Because I've never seen him without the costume. Was walking the dog somewhere over here without any disguise, right? And he looked straight at the camera. So I don't know, right? It could be one of those techniques to introduce noise into the system. But just want to mention that, right? And this started around the time that the system identified the nuclear status, the place with W and N. So it could be related to that, right? Or it could be related to the Wi-Fi charges of peak. That they're instead of panic, and now they're trying to get confusion about what they really look like. The other one that I've been trying to get the place for a year is Pablo, the one in the corner. That is a super important agent, right? He has a defensive role, like he's basically like a security guard, but for these high-level people, right? And I've been trying to get that place for a year, but they always park the car inside that gate in a way that it's impossible to get it. And the same day that white Land Rover intercepted me and let me see the plate, they brought in a white SUV and it did the same technique. It drove in front of me and got inside of that house, like to make the system believe that is barrier. But I believe it's just a new car. It's not really his car. Right? Because they're not going to let anything related to him, tied to his identity, to his real identity, be recorded by the system, obviously, right? So I think it's just a way to create noise. I think that's what it's really about. So anyhow, we're living in one state, and we're going to see what interesting things we find today. Behind barriers for 35, 30 now. So that was 29, then 10. Behind 5, 30. by the way, I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you something that flagged my pipeline. So yesterday, when I went to hand deliver the document to George Brown, right? So that was November. I think it was November 11th. I can't recall if it was yesterday. November 11th, right? Let me see. No, November 12th. So on my way back, as I was coming back, I was on I-10. The system picked up an interesting vehicle, which was a center point truck, like a work truck from center point, right? The energy company, and it had the logo and everything, and the work number for the unit number for the truck. But what's interesting is that the plate was one of those DV plates that could mean one of two things. One meaning could be that it's a dealer vehicle, okay? Meaning that it's a vehicle used or registered to a dealership. It could be like a courtesy vehicle, could be like a office vehicle, could be many things. But there's also other plates that have this DV thing, which means disabled veteran, right? So it could be one of the two. But the anomaly lies on that if it's a work truck for center point, why on earth the plate is registered to either a dealership or a disabled veteran? It doesn't make sense, right? Like, I mean, even if the person is a disabled veteran, his work truck should be registered by center point, not to his name, and therefore getting the disabled veteran status, right? So this particular vehicle is interesting because it could show collusion between center point as a corporate entity and the 7, the Cabello, right? So that could be a nuclear finding. And the pipeline picked this up, right? It's an anomaly that a work vehicle of a company has a disabled veteran or dealership plate, right? And the point is neither a disabled veteran or a dealership, right? Yeah, we're in a school sound, so I'm trying to. Yeah, so that was an interesting fight. The corporate vehicle, commercial vehicle with a DV plate. And it had tinted windows and it had the device, the device that they mount on the rearview mirror. So it was a spy vehicle, that's for sure. So another interesting one is one that got flagged, and I don't know how this could have happened. And I've been reluctant to say it because, it could be many things, right? I don't want to. But in one of the occurrences in which I went to the federal court, I used to park, or sometimes I park the car in that bridge that is very close to the. I park it on the street, right? So it's viewable by anybody. And I parked it on that bridge that is next to the court. So when I was there, right, I'm sleeping. The car that is parked behind my SUV. I was driving the Suburban of them. So the car that was parked behind me, it was a dark Toyota Camry, okay? But what's interesting is that it had this device that they mount on behind the windshield, right? Like the espionage machine, basically, that turns any car into an espionage super computer with sensors, right? It had that, and it had a plate, an official plate, license plate from the DOJ, from the Department of Justice. Right? So I thought that would be a very dangerous thing, like somebody that worked at the DOJ driving a car provided by Gustavo Cabello or the Chinese intelligence. Now, how they got that device in there, I don't know. Right? That's beyond my comprehension, or like I don't know. I don't know how that happened. Well, that is recorded in the video. So that should be on the code level B6, and it's on the back channel. And it's clearly reported because I have that camera mounted at the same level at the windshield. So we decided to be able to capture these cameras, right? That camera. These devices that they have on the windshield. So it should be easy to see that one, and you will see the plate. Right? this is an easy one because you can see the buffer zone, right? So this guy over here, driven roofing, and roofers are an important part of this because, as I mentioned in the demos, measured scientifically, the roofs of these houses are extension to the ditches, right? So the roofing companies have to be in it, and they have to have high level of clearance within the network, right? Because they wouldn't trust this information to anybody, right? Like if I set up a roofing company, they're not going to give me the materials, and because I would figure it out, right? So this driven roofing right here, right? So this is one of these guys that have these tall trucks. The plate is not visible, but it's a Super Duty 4, and it's elevated a lot. And the suspension is brand Ready Lift. That's the suspension brand. And it's an F250, right? So this is a super important guy. And he has one of the surveillance car parked next to the mailbox that is marking his house. And this one is S as in Sam, Charlie Bravo, 7980. And it's a Sienna, Toyota Sienna White, LE. But you can see in the other channels the huge buffer zones that these people have, right? Well, because he's a roofer, right? He has to be super protected. So those work orders don't fall in the hands of the authorities, right? And the other one is this one, which would be 4902 Ginger Bluff Trail or Maze Bluff Drive, one of the two, because it's an intersection. And he also has the mailbox marker. Right? And the other one that has to be super important is this one, these two houses, right? Because they are behind this parking lot where they staged the car accident of my former partner in 2021 and 2023. So these two houses are right behind, and they have the oversized loads with this specific shape, right? So one is 4954, and the other one is 28823. So those two houses are important. And we're back to this one, which is a notable house that has been flagged multiple times before, that has these black Tahoe, these two cars as markers, right? Now this is interesting. So it has a white BMW 320 XGP 2460. I have to look into the pipeline because I think there is a car exactly like this one. I have to look in the data. I don't wanna commit to anything, but there was a car that is very, very much like that car that was parked at Francisco Castillo's house in Tamarron, right, in the same street where Penelope lives. Well, what the system believes, I never seen him in that house, but the system believes that might be Francisco's house. So it's interesting that there is a car that looks like that in there. I'll look at the plate to see if they match. All right.